Welcome back to Author's Note. Now, who has the biggest economy? Is it Argentina or Colombia? Well, it's Argentina, of course, but on Beyond BRICS, the last few weeks, the FT's Emerging Markets blog on ft.com, we've had quite a debate about that, with former ministers from both sides weighing in. The Colombians say that because Argentina has so many different exchange rates, it has the official rate, a black market rate, you can't really trust the big numbers, and that Colombia's GDP actually overtook Argentina's briefly this year. Now, here to straighten us out on that is Paul Rathbone, the FT's Latin America editor. Paul, thanks very much for joining us. Now, we've got a couple of charts to look at. The first one shows us the figures from the IMF showing GDP at purchasing power parity in dollars. And this clearly shows they were close for a while, back in 1990, 2002, but Argentina is taking off. These are the figures we should be looking at, aren't they?
Well, statistics, damned lies and statistics, that famous saying. And certainly on the PPP approach, you see Argentina continuing to power ahead, remaining the third biggest economy in the region after Brazil and Mexico, and Colombia sort of trading along behind. And this has been a period of very rapid growth for Argentina. I wonder about the forecast here, because most forecasters are expecting at least flat or some even a recession here. So every kind of number that you use is questionable, especially in Argentina, which has very dubious official statistics. If you use different exchange rates, if you use market exchange rates, then indeed Colombia is higher. So it really depends what story you're looking to tell. And I think the true story here is that Colombia and Argentina are now in the same zone. Colombia used to be the fifth largest economy in the region. Now it overtook Venezuela earlier, and now it's in the same zone as Argentina, and what counts really is the trend.
Right, okay, the Colombians say that they're trending upwards and that Argentina is not. Let's have a look at our second chart, which shows us the MSCI equity indices for both countries. Now here, again, going along together in tandem for a long time until the Lehman Brothers crisis. They both fell, they both recovered, but Colombia has carried on powering ahead and Argentina's going down. We've had some bizarre valuations in Colombia, haven't we? Briefly, we had Ecopetrol, the oil company, being bigger than Petrobras, which has much, much more in terms of reserves and so on. So is that reliable? Do we trust those numbers?
I mean, what's fascinating here is you see that, I mean, both countries, 2002, similar sort of situation, both were basically on the brink of supposed collapse. This was Argentina after the devaluation, and Colombia with the FARC, when Uribe took the presidency in 2002, the presidential palace was bombed. And then you get to the global financial crisis and Argentina performs much worse. Until then they're kind of going along the same way, sort of globalized capital. And this is where you really see the difference, and one could argue, I mean, again, not so much about the absolute levels, but sort of the trend, is that Colombia, which has a very skillful economic policy making in place, has outperformed through the crisis, and Argentina has underperformed. And I think that probably reflects quite accurately the economic picture as well.
Right, so that is an indicator of what could be coming next in GDP, and investors are obviously worried about that. I mean, how big a drag on stocks is it policy or is it corporate governance in Argentina?
I mean, Argentina, one way of conceptualizing it is basically the agricultural equivalent of an oil well. You can mess things up very badly, but it's still gushing forward and gushing out this agricultural wealth through the soya, and that remains in place. Chinese demand for soya remains in place. But Colombia has changed rather its economic profile. It used to be known as a coffee exporter, now it's a mineral exporter. You've got a very hands-on, very adept, very professional policy-making cadre, which you don't have in Argentina, where decision-making is increasingly personalized in the figure of the president. So yes, it is a problem of corporate governance.
Okay, all right, well, we'll keep watching that. Much more here on ft.com and of course over on Beyond BRICS.